So far, 189 aircraft are currently at the sim, from vintage to modern ones. Cessnas have been an all-time favorite for many, and it appears that every plane that comes out of the studios of Carenado always takes the place amongst the best of the lot. Let's find out on what Cessna can offer us today, shall we? As always, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to see you here. Very often, we bring you the latest on what's going on at the simulator. Make sure you subscribe to be notified for future releases. We present to you the Cessna 170B today, the latest from the studios, Carenado's 6th installment after a set of beautifully designed planes. This has been another addition to the lot. Considering all the planes released for the sim, there are 189. This includes the ones that are in the process of development. The Cessna C-170B, also known as the Skyhawk's daddy, is one of a kind by itself that brings a good blend of a commuter, a good freight hauler, bush plane. Plenty of training schools use this for pilot training purposes, making it an all-rounder to say the least. Quite a common aircraft to be owned by private pilots today, mostly due to its affordability. While the plane can be an all-rounder, this can also be a drawback as it really can be in an isolated category to be the absolute best. However, it has proven to be a good companion in many parts of the world. It carries a prestigious look by the appearance which most pilots and spectators admire. Now, Carenado has done a good job here. They've been the professionals in making great models over the years in several platforms, amongst other leaders in plane modeling. This has a unique look and feel to it. The tail feathers, the fuselage are quite different, making it a versatile one. You get to do what you want to do here, where every plane has a purpose, but this one has a good balance to it between different purposes. Looking at the history here, the C-170s began during the late 40s with 3 different versions back then: the C-170, the C-170A and the C-170B. If you observe the C-170, which is the first one produced during 1948, it has a metal fuselage with a fabric constant chord wings and rounded tips connected with V-struts. The flaps are plain here, which can extend to approximately 30 degrees. A 12.5-gallon tank that was imitated by the older Cessnas 120 and the 140 models. Along came the 170A in 1949 that featured all the metal tapered wings with squared-off tips connected by a single wing strut with a larger fuel tank of 21 gallons. Now the following year came the 170B, which we are featuring right here. This was rather inspired by the warplane C-305 Bird Dog. The plane features Fowler flaps that can be lowered down to 40 degrees with an improved horizontal stabilizer and elevator, an enlarged trim tab with mass balance that are inserted to the tips which can relieve control pressures, making it rather seamless in flight. There are some similarities between the latest C-170Bs, as the last year of production was in 1955, which had a square rear window instead of the rounded versions. Cessnas did have a few to manufacture the following year and decided to have the tricycle landing gear, which made it much easier to land. That led to the end of this model, opening doors to the Cessna 172 since then. By the way, this comes in 2 different models, the regular version as well as the Tundra one, giving us limitless terrain to explore. 6 liveries are included, and I love how authentic they look, from the paint job, which have been textured quite generously, all the way from the tail to the nose. We are touring the eastern coast here, and right now at the Tweed Airport at New Haven, Connecticut. A beautiful state it is. The World Update has this area covered very well. We chose this place hoping to see more accurate data as it suggests in the map in relation to the elevation data. The eastern part of the states are great for bush trips if you like greener areas. Let's do a cold and dark start here, but before that, let's take a good look at the interiors here. Very well done with all the instruments and the dials. The upholstery looks great. I like the blue color, goes very well with the livery. A tablet is included to control various options of the aircraft and checking any flight information which can benefit the pilot in knowing the current status of the plane. It's equipped with an electronic flight bag basically. The PBR textures appear to be used very well overall. They have practiced to use industrial standard tools which are recommended by the top players in the gaming industry. Right away from the knobs to the switches and buttons and several other elements have true sounds, which Carenado has done a really good job. So there's a lot of work involved in preparation for this model. This comes with the portable Garmin era GPS, the KX165 Navcom radio, as well as the KT76A transponder. Before the start, first you gotta check the oil level, quantity of fuel, a visual of the plane outside to check to see if there are any control locks. Now we are good to start and we have a good visual here. The windshield is clean, parking brakes are set, setting the carburetor heat, mixture control to full rich. Let's check the fuel tank here. It shows 50%, we can move that to 100% I suppose. Before hitting the start, make sure to prime it depending on the weather conditions. 2 to 4 strokes are suggested. Magneto switches are on and here we go. I like the sounds of the engine. The takeoff was certainly a breeze, and you can sense that the flight dynamics have a good feel with balance during flight. With the way the end user can tweak certain things at flight, the responses were good at torque and speed. Along with the engine sounds where the wind effects sounded to be authentic. It's a good use of original high quality digital stereo sounds which have been recorded from the actual aircraft. It feels great to fly this. With realistic flight dynamics, I do feel that the brakes can be less sensitive when braking on taxiways sometimes, but overall it's a great aircraft and you might have several questions in your mind whether if this plane is the right one and where can I take my next flight to. This is a Cessna, a classic beautiful bird loved by most of us here. The C-170 will serve many purposes at different terrains. A beautiful product designed by the studios of Carenado again, and we certainly think you're gonna love this plane. This is sold for $25. You can find the link in the description below for this beautiful plane. We certainly hope you like this video. An interesting space of flight simming at 2021, isn't it? Do stay tuned for more by subscribing. Until next time, have a good rest of the day and take care.
And there's nobody out there lucky like I am. There's nobody out there that can say my name. And nobody out there lucky like we are. We are, like we are. I've been walking down the line and I gotta take time, so I better shape up. You've been trying all along, but I got you on time, so we better wake up. 'Cause there's no